Interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, a New Jersey man named Vincent Dransfield just turned 110 years old.
Tony Kornheiser, I know Vinny. He's a year behind me in high school. He was on the track team. I think he ran the 400.
They had track
so. I'm not sure.
Okay, let me just say this. I have no interest in being shouted out by Willard Scott because I turned 110. I mean, all praise to Vinny. Congratulations, big hugs and kisses. But 110? What? Come on now.
Two things. Willard Scott no longer in the shout-out game.
No.
And you just let me know when you want to check out. Just give me a heads up.
Yeah, 110.
We'll get somebody else on the show. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Nelly Korda wins again. The Bruins have a tough decision, and Aaron Judge gets booed at home. But we begin today with the NBA playoffs. All 8 first-round series began over the weekend, and all 8 home teams won, almost all by numbingly large margins. Wilbon, you watched all of them?
Yep.
Which result did you find most interesting?
Well, Tony, the last result, the last game, we're looking at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in Oklahoma City hold off barely and narrowly a New Orleans team that was spirited on the road, and it looked like a real game. As you know, you watched a lot of these. You and I checked in with each other, and, you had to stop, from going to sleep on a couple of these things, Tony. So that was the game, had something called ties and lead changes. Oh, my God. But there were interesting elements in other games. Joel Embiid and all of his drama throws the ball off the glass to himself, throws it down, and then, oh, wait, he's off in the locker room. He hadn't dunked a single time since he'd come back from the meniscus injury, and he dunked only 19 times, we're told, all season. And so he's out there dragging himself one-legged up and down the court against the Knicks. And that's got a certain drama to it, Tony. And so does Anthony Edwards, who went out and took a blowtorch to the Phoenix Suns and his idol Kevin Durant. So there are elements that were very interesting, even though the games, as you point out, were not close. But the last game was really good. And I expect, by the way, at least 4 road teams to win their game 2s.
Yeah, so I had difficulty watching because the margins were so vast and often in the first half. The games were over in the first half. So we get to the last game, which is New Orleans at Oklahoma City, and I'm tired, and I've watched bad games, and I've watched some golf, and I've watched some baseball, and I don't want to be disappointed again, so I go to sleep. So I missed the only good game. I missed that game. And then I tried to stitch together some sort of thesis, Mike, about what had happened to the teams where the stars were not playing, because Jimmy Butler's out and Miami loses by a lot, and Zion is out and New Orleans loses by a little. But then Milwaukee, without Antetokounmpo, wins by 100 points. And then the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard, they win big. Yeah. So I have no thesis. My only thesis is that the home teams have won. Like you, I believe there will be in game 2 a couple of teams, road teams will win. I'm looking particularly at Dallas, and I'm looking at Indiana because they were so bad. They were beaten so badly that I assume there is some motivation for them. If I had one thing to say, one player in particular, and I did watch this, Damian Lillard had 35 in the first half. 35, and then none. Then he played 19 minutes in the second half, took 5 shots, and had no more points. So,
game time came very early.
I was so wrong about that. I was so wrong about Milwaukee. I was certain they were going out because of the way they had played.
They could still go out. I still might see Indiana win that series.
I meant this game.
I learned from a sage old sports writer when I came into the business. Hey, it's a series, kid. Game 1, don't get crazy. So,
don't.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to stay with that advice. Yep. I think there's some road teams that are going to win game 2, and I know you believe that too. Let's move to the most dominant golfers in the world. Nelly Korda won her 5th straight tournament, the Chevron Championship, a major, on Sunday. She joins Nancy Lopez and Annika Sorenstam as the only women to win 5 straight LPGA events. And on the men's side, this morning, Scottie Scheffler finished off his 4th win in his last 5 starts by winning at Hilton Head by 3 strokes. Tone, where you want to start?
Yeah, I'm going to start with Nelly Korda, and let's review. She won 5 in a row, including a major. Scottie Scheffler won 4 out of 5, including a major. But winning 5 in a row is a little bit better. She's 1 rung higher right now than Scottie Scheffler, as far as I'm concerned. And as you say, she etches her name alongside Nancy Lopez and Annika Sorenstam. I would argue they're the two greatest female golfers of the last 50 years. And Nelly Korda is only 25 years old. So there's a lot more opportunity there. I've been reading about Nelly Korda. I know you know her personally. I do not. I've been reading about her. And I read just last week that someone, an LPGA official, said she's like our Caitlin Clark. And I said, no, don't say that.
Don't get
Caitlin
crazy.
Clark is a phenomenon. Yeah. Caitlin Clark set attendance records wherever she played. She set television records wherever she played. Nelly Korda has been on the tour 6 or 7 years. We haven't seen that spike yet. Maybe we will. But I will say this, Mike. The Nelly Korda is the best professional golfer in the world among women, right? And we got to wait and see if Caitlin Clark's going to be the best professional basketball player in the world among women. So that, there's that dynamic.
People have to rush to judgment now on every single thing. They got to declare something a record or something's never happened before, and that's what the culture has come to. And so Nelly Korda is great at what she does, and she's important. She's a word that we never had, Tony, an influencer. Nelly Korda is big in that way. She takes it seriously, takes her responsibility seriously, is involved in all the ways in the sport to expand it and grow it. And so for Nelly Korda to have this attention now, and I hope she keeps winning. I hope she gets 6 in a row and 7 in a row. And it's not that I'm looking for her to sort of set herself apart from Lopez and Sorenstam. And Sorenstam, I mean, anybody going to argue that nobody's caught Sorenstam and may never do that? But Nelly Korda is great to watch now. Scheffler's interesting, Tony, because does he move the needle at all for golf? I mean, I know that you're still following Tiger or following Tiger and Phil, or even following a group that includes Rory and Spieth and some of the other younger people. He doesn't have anything that makes you go, I got to see Scottie Scheffler. I don't know whether that's going to matter, because I think half the people who have that sizzle are playing on the Saudi tour.
Mike, I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
He does something. His distance control makes you want to see him.
Oh, he's great.
His second shots are within 15 feet of the pin almost every single time. No, I'm not talking about personality.
Right.
But the compelling nature of the way he plays. He threw 65, 63 on Friday and Saturday in that tournament. He was down 6. Suddenly he's cruising again like he did at the Masters. He takes the drama out of it. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but at this point, Mike, he's
dominant
to maybe be an all-timer. We'll see. It takes time. Let's move to hockey. The NHL playoffs also began over the weekend. Boston won its opening game over Toronto 5-1. Bruins goalie Jeremy Swayman was terrific. But the Bruins have alternated goalies over their last 26 games. So following form, Linus Ullmark should be in goal for Game 2. But will he be? Bruins coach Jim Montgomery says he's still deciding. Wilbon, what would you do?
Tony, this is a fascinating choice, dilemma. I mean, you're in the playoffs, and so what do? I would stay with the rotation that got me there. All those silly cliches, dance with who brung you, and all these things that are 1,000 years old. I'm doing that. And I understand that the guy who played last night has looked dominant against Toronto, which can't score at all. But, Tony, these things, this. Locker rooms are delicate places, and they often have a delicate balance. And it's not just the goaltender you're dealing with. You're dealing with the whole team here and personalities and how people, I don't mean superstitions. I mean actual feelings about how a team is conducted and what coaches do and the decisions they make. I'd go with what I've gone with all season, and it would be 27th time I'd be making that change.
So my temptation is to say, stick with this goalie right now because he's hot. Because I spent my entire life as a sports writer believing that the hot goalie in hockey is the most important thing you can have. I've seen that. But, and there's always a but, last year, Boston alternated goalies much like this year, maybe not to this extreme degree, but they alternated. They had the greatest year in the history of the NHL. They stopped alternating in the first round of the playoffs, and they got beat. Florida beat them. They played Swayman 6 times. They brought in Ullmark. He lost. That was it. So while
Other way around.
I agree with you that as a result of that, I would continue to alternate.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in Jim Montgomery's shoes. Because if he makes the wrong call on game 2, he's going to get crushed. He's going to get crushed. Anybody but him, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Let's take a break. Coming up, Yankee fans boo Aaron Judge. Too soon?
Yankee fans, it's that nature. I have a scoop on what, the GOAT was doing other than watching his NASCAR team win at Talladega.
All right, I got it backwards. They started almost the first 6. Then they went to swing. But at least I got the names right.
Pardon the Interruption is brought.
All right, it's time to wade through the messes from the masses in mail time.
Mail time?
Let me see what's first. Let me go to the glasses. Aaron Judge didn't seem to have a problem with getting booed by Yankee fans on Saturday, did you?
Tony, he went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts and then got booed. And I don't even pay attention to it. And Judge was great about it. He just said he's heard worse. This is what Yankee fans do. Yankees and Phillies, people in New York and people in Philly, they boo you. And Boston's got it to a lesser degree, but up and down your beloved I-95, people just boo folks. They boo them for walking outside. They boo Santa Claus. They boo in Philadelphia people who get hurt and have neck injuries. And they boo. So I don't even pay attention. I'm sure that Aaron Judge has been around long enough now to know not to pay attention either. But he's been struggling with that toe. I mean, since that toe injury, and I told you this could be a big deal, he's not been, the power numbers have been there, but not been hitting for his usual average at all.
I love the fact that you use this to take shots at everybody up and down I-95.
Yes.
As if people in the Midwest never boo anybody.
No, we don't boo.
I don't know why you would say that. Sure, of course they boo. In this particular case, I don't understand why you can't boo somebody from the home team. I don't understand why that is written. The fact of the matter is that whoever booed Aaron Judge, who was a Yankee fan, didn't boo him viciously at all. Booed him as a motivational tool, is my theory.
Sure.
Probably saying something like this. Look, you're batting 174 right now. You got 31 strikeouts in the 24 games that we have played. You got just 3 home runs. You had 4 strikeouts on the day that we booed. You can do better than this. You know this. We know you can do better than this. And Judge said as much. This is the essence of sports, is what have you done for me lately? The boos will dissipate. Get a couple of hits. Get a couple of hits.
Everybody doesn't do that. Everybody doesn't boo.
I'm going to produce a tape of people booing Ernie Banks. I'm going to send it to your house.
You got nothing.
Here we go. You covered Michael Jordan. You covered Michael Jordan winning in basketball for so many years.
Yeah.
How did it feel to watch his team win at Talladega?
It was so cool, Tony. I'm in a studio yesterday in L.A., of course, doing the NBA games, and we've got 100 TVs on. And I made sure we could watch this because I knew that Michael Jordan was in Talladega. He wasn't watching playoff games, but this thrills him. Let me just say a source close to Michael Jordan tells me that Jordan can't control anything with basketball anymore. He can't. And it drives his blood pressure up and it makes him crazy. And he doesn't want to scream at the TV, which is what he does. So he's there. He's with his NASCAR team. And he watched Tyler Reddick win the 45 car. The 45 car it looked like a Jordan shoe. I forget which model. And so Bubba, didn't win, but he's won with Bubba before in the 23 car. It's thrilling for me to watch it. I know it's got to be for him. I mean, he's able to do this thing that he was not able to do really as an owner in the NBA, but he's doing it as an owner in NASCAR, which is near and dear. Great for him. Great for Michael.
Yeah, this question is obviously geared specifically to you because you watched Talladega. I did not. I watched some golf. I watched some basketball.
You didn't stop at Talladega. I called you. I thought you might.
I didn't even know.
Pause.
You did not. I didn't even know that the race was on. But I'm happy for Michael Jordan. Look, you and I watched Joe Gibbs win 3 Super Bowls as a coach, and his heart was always in NASCAR.
Yes.
Michael Jordan grew up in North Carolina. His heart is in NASCAR. Brad Daugherty grew up in North Carolina. His heart is in NASCAR. I understand that. Yeah. I don't believe that a NASCAR win is the equal of 6 NBA championships. But I wonder if Michael Jordan would trade a couple of those championships to win at Daytona. I would trade most of my Emmys, and I would trade all of your Emmys to win a Pulitzer, and I'm never going to win it, and I would. Enough email. Let's take one last break. Still to come. The Jets reportedly say see you to Zach Wilson.
And Rafael Nadal, is he still a thing? Returns to the court tomorrow against an unusual opponent. I did call you. I said, are you going to, did you at least stop at NASCAR? You said no.
It's okay for you to say you talked to Michael Jordan. It's okay. People know you talked to Michael Jordan.
A source close to.
Happy time, people. Happy 38th birthday, Marshawn Lynch. He's in 1,000 commercials. Everybody loves him now. Had the Seahawks handed him the ball instead of having Russell Wilson pass it against the Patriots, they'd likely have won a second Super Bowl. Beast Mode was a 5-time Pro Bowler and the NFL's rushing touchdowns leader in 2013 and 2014. His 12 postseason touchdowns are tied for 4th all-time with Hall of Famers Terrell Davis and John Riggins. Lynch's 8th all-time in postseason rushing yards, 17th all-time in career rushing touchdowns, 29th all-time in career rushing yards with over 10,000. Well, should he be in the Hall of Fame?
Tony, a lot of those numbers work in his favor. I'm sitting there going, wow, these are impressive numbers, maybe so, and he should have had a second Super Bowl. But the 29th all-time is what probably works against him. So I'm glad I'm not in that room anymore voting like I did for 10 years. That's a tough call.
Happy anniversary, Sam Bradford. On this day 14 years ago, Bradford was the overall #1 pick in the draft. The Rams gave Bradford a 6-year contract worth a maximum of $86 million, with a then NFL record $50 million guaranteed. Bradford made over $78 million on this deal, despite missing a season and a half due to injury and compiling a 25-27-1 record in those 6 years. The 2011 collective bargaining agreement drastically reduced salaries for first-round picks, imposing a rookie wage scale. That year's #1 pick, Cam Newton, signed a contract worth $37 million. This is why the presumptive #1 pick this year, Caleb Williams, won't be cashing in like Bradford.
So you know what's fascinating, though, is that Bradford, he never had a winning record, even a season, but he had 103 touchdown passes to only 61 interceptions, and he completed 62% of his passes. You go back some years, and you know this. I mean, guys like, even the great Terry Bradshaw, he would kill for those numbers. Nobody had those numbers years. So do the numbers lie? Yeah, I think they do. But, it's going to be very different. And he got the big payday. Ha, ha, ha. You can say that. Holding that over everybody else.
Quarterbacks in the 60s and 70s, they had much closer ratios between touchdown passes and interceptions.
They threw the ball down the field. No swing passes and yards after catch with 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage screens.
They did. A melancholy trails to Roman Gabriel. This quarterback, who was NFL MVP in 1969 and who still holds the Los Angeles Rams record for passing touchdowns, died over the weekend at 83. Gabriel, a 2-time ACC Player of the Year at NC State, was the 2nd overall pick by the Rams in the 1962 NFL Draft. He was also 1st overall by the Oakland Raiders of the rival AFL. The 6'5" Gabriel, it was big then, signed with the Rams and played his first 11 seasons there, then 5 more in Philadelphia. Gabriel flourished under George Allen with the Rams, going 41-11-4 for Allen in their final 4 seasons together. After retiring, Gabriel went into the booth for a while, then coached, and also acted in movies with John Wayne, Jackie Gleason, and Rock Hudson. Wilbon, he was on one of your favorite TV shows, Perry Mason.
I've seen that episode. I'm watching all these Perry Masons on Friendly TV. Roman Gabriel, when I was a kid, I liked him just because his name was so different for playing the position of quarterback. Roman Gabriel, when you're in the backyard and you're trying to throw like him, he really stood straight up and that right arm was high in the air. And he wore 18, which I don't know who else wore 18, but I think I know this. I think Caleb Williams is going to wear 18, which was his high school number. Not going to wear 13. I'm talking 18. And so that's appropriate. Okay. But Roman Gabriel, wow. Kids don't know him anymore. Yeah. They should.
What I remember most about Roman Gabriel was his size at 6'5". Yep. Everybody's 6'5" now. Brady's 6'5", Manning's 6'5". Everybody's 6'5" now. But back then, guys were 6 feet or 5'10", or 6'1". And Roman Gabriel stood out because he was 6'5". Let's go to the big finish if we could.
do it.
NL Cy Young winner. Blake Snell gave up 5 earned over 4 2/3 innings on Friday. His ERA is now 11.57. Your thoughts?
I'm too old school. I'm not going to get worked up over numbers in mid-April. I can't do it. The NFL Network reports that the Jets are trading Zach Wilson to the Broncos. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it didn't work at all in New York. You know, he'll be closer to Provo where he played college football. It didn't work. Transfer news. Duke's Jeremy Roach to Baylor. Indiana State's Robbie Avila or Avila. I apologize to St. Louis. Your thoughts?
Everybody transfers. Half Duke's roster. I think they got 7 kids in the transfer portal. That's all kids do. They wake up and say, oh, wait a minute, time to transfer today. 37-year-old Rafael Nadal will face 16 American Darwin Blanche in the Madrid Open tomorrow. Your prediction?
My prediction is that Darwin Blanche is going to get the thrill of his life being out there with one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Last one, Sixers at Knicks, game 2 tonight. Who got in this one?
I'm not taking the road team in this one, Tony. I mean, we don't know what's going to be going on with Embiid, and Maxey has an illness. I'm going to take your Knicks to go up 2-0 in the God.
We're out of time. Try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. Lakers in Denver again.
People send me paper. All right, Wilbon, which NBA team currently down 0-1, which is all the road teams, all are down 0-1, which is most likely to come back and win the series?
Well, Tony, I got 4 teams that are in that predicament that I think can win the series. Let me go through the ones first that I think will dominate at home at least and win their series convincingly. Celtics, Nuggets. I think the Timberwolves will, and I think the Knicks will. But so that leaves that leaves Orlando, Indianapolis, Dallas, and New Orleans as teams, those 4 teams that have started on the road that I think can win. Most likely of those, I think Cleveland will win that series. Orlando's new to this. I think Indy can beat the Bucks. I still don't know about Giannis. I expect Indy to come back and win game 2 in Milwaukee. And then Dallas Clippers. That's a series we all expect to go back and forth. I think Dallas can still win that series. No Kawhi, at least for now. In New Orleans and the Thunder. I think the Thunder will win, but I think New Orleans got a real chance. Those 4 in jeopardy.
Can I go back to what you said and ask you a very specific question? Did you say you thought Denver would dominate at home? Did you say dominate?
Dominate at home.
Denver?
Yeah. Denver at home.
Okay. Didn't the other day, didn't you look into the camera
and said 6.
And with perfect innocence, didn't you say the Lakers are going to make this a series?
Yes.
They're going to make it a series?
They better win 2 games at home. It becomes a series.
Oh, their home games. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but if Denver's going to dominate at home, they're going to win the series, right? They're going to
win the series, yeah.
I have no idea who's going to come back and win. But it's possible nobody comes back and win because this isn't hockey. In hockey, this happens all the time.
It does.
Okay, the lower seed wins all the time.
Does.
But in basketball, it doesn't. It actually doesn't
Home
happen
court
all
matters,
the time.
Yeah.
It's very rare in basketball. Sometimes it happens. Look, Miami was an 8, right? And they got all the way to the finals as an 8. But that is the exception to the rule, whereas in hockey, it is the rule.
Yeah.
It is the rule.
And there's no home field advantage at all, it seems, in baseball anymore. Let me clear this up so that everybody hears this, okay? Denver, I have Denver and always had Denver winning the series. But yes, the Lakers have 2 all-league players, 2 Hall of Famers, and 1 guy who's in the discussion for GOAT. Don't tell me they should get swept or trashed. They should be able to win a couple of games at home. That means 6.
Okay.
But Denver at home.
But they're not going to win in Denver, you're saying. They're not going to win in Denver.
I don't think so, Tom.
Okay. Well, they play 4 in Denver. So that's what you
4 in Denver get you through.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. We're done. Back to you people.